And we're live. Welcome back everyone for another stream. How are we all doing? Thank you all for being here. Gameweek 15 has just concluded. A bittersweet end to the game week, I have to say, as Arsenal went on to lose 2-1 to Everton. From an Arsenal fan's perspective, that is. But yeah, some of you may know, it was somehow a green arrow to first in the world. Cannot believe it. Absolutely cannot believe it. It was a horrendous game week. I'd love to know how you guys got on, but it wasn't a great game week for me. I've not had a chance to really prepare anything for the stream. It was a last minute decision to go live. I couldn't not go live, right? Going first in the world. But yeah, the premium defense let us down again. I need to refresh this actually. Get the latest points up for Ramsdale. Did Ramsdale get 2? He did. Yes, it was 2 points for Ramsdale. Tony missed out. He had COVID. James, he got a 0-pointer, obviously. Got the booking, conceded. Alonso, 1-pointer. Smith-Rowe wasn't in the squad in the end. There was a late decision on him. So Livramento comes... King comes off my bench. And Livramento comes off my bench. So 50 points all out, which was just about a green arrow to first in the world. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here for that. Bit of history in the making. Apparently no YouTuber's ever done it before. If that is true, then what an honour. I didn't have a chance to properly set the stream up because it was so last minute. So let me just put the chat on the sidebar. Bear with me. Let's see if this does it. There we go. Yeah, so thank you so much for being here, everyone. Cannot believe it. Somehow it was a green arrow to first in the world with 50 points. Just barely. Yeah, it was dependent on what happened tonight. I basically needed Gabriel to get less than 10 points, and Ben White to get less than 11 points, which they both did. Smith Rowe not playing meant that Livramento came off the bench, and I needed 2 points to get into first place. So yeah, I'm tied with first place. I think he's also 1,108 points, but the tiebreaker is whoever's made the least transfers. So I've literally just made the one less transfer than first place. So thank you so much for being here. I'll attempt to read through all the names in chat. We've got Abid Kwani, Adam, Adabionya, Albin, Andy, Aya, Bonkers, Cedric, Cheekster, Damjan, Daniel, Dominic, EJT, El Papi, Ethan, Gandrew, Gichan, Gone Sporting, Green Arrow every week, Harendra, Henry, Hussein, Ian Mike, Ivan, James Glaister, Jeff, Jonathan, Joshua, Kavir, Lighthearted, Kinzo, Lindo, Lloyden, 2 Luke, Lyrical, Marcus, Martin, Matthew Miz and Mo, Mohammed, Nicola, Noctambuli, Nova, Olaya, Rayan, Sandeep, Saya, Scott, Sean, another Sean, Shadow, Simply FPL, Sky, Sue Tahar, TM, Tony, Tyler, Vasak, Westy, Yankee, Youssef, Yoshi, Zaharia, Zip, another Zip, and a name that's not in English. Thank you all for being here. I'm out of breath after that. So yeah, thank you for being here. What should we talk about? I thought I cannot go to bed and not do a stream right after going first. On Friday, I'm actually at work for a work Christmas party, so I'm not even going to have the chance to do a deadline stream on Friday. So this is the opportunity. Maybe I'll do one on Thursday as well. What should we do? Should we do a little bit of a news roundup? We've got a couple of bits we can talk about because there has been a little bit of news from this game week. So obviously the first bit of news was, of course, that McCarthy got injured. And the backup keeper Forster's also injured, so a bit of a keeper crisis at Southampton. And as a result, they've got Willy Caballero coming in on a short-term contract to see them through the goalkeeping crisis. And they do play Arsenal next game week, so hopefully Smith Rowe is going to be back for that. Dominic asks, have you seen the Spurs COVID rumours? Yeah, let's talk about that as well. So there is a rumour, at this point it's just a rumour, that 8 players are missing for the Tottenham game next Sunday. Sorry, that's the wrong one completely. How many players is it? It's like 6 players from Tottenham who apparently got COVID and a couple of staff. So apparently, I don't know if it's true or not, but apparently they, if that is the case, I expect they'll miss game week 16 and possibly game week 17, like Tony is as well. But yeah, this was the other bit of news. So in terms of Brighton, who Tottenham face, they're missing 8 players next game week. In defence, that includes Dunk, Duffy and Webster. And then in attack, they're missing Lallana, Welbeck, Trossard. So, yeah, I don't think it's the game week to sell Heung-min Son, those of us who got him. You can make a case for selling Kane, because he's been so disappointing. But yeah, the other bit of Tottenham news was, of course, Reguilon. He went off with what we worried would be an injury. But he did post on Instagram and Twitter afterwards, and he said, I'll be back in a few days, so don't sell me on Fantasy Premier League. So good news, Reguilon owners. It looks like he's fine. Also some good news for those of us who have a few City assets, including Bernardo Silva and Cancelo. Both of them are left out of the squad, travelling to Germany for the Leipzig game. So that's good news as well. In my case, I've got Cancelo, but I'm looking at Bernardo Silva. I'm also looking at Foden. I don't know exactly which way I'm going to go yet. Thanks for the donation, Max. He says you smashed it. Thank you, mate. Yeah, it's unbelievable. I cannot believe that go to bed and all the way till game week 16 and first in the world. The stuff of dreams that. Never thought that would happen. Yeah, incredible. Ben Stewart says, hard day to be an Arsenal fan. Yeah, it is a hard day. I had Ramsdale, but also first place in the world had Ramsdale. So I just wanted a Ramsdale clean sheet, even if it meant that there was a few players just below me with Ben White and Gabriel, and I didn't even mind, if Arsenal kept a clean sheet. Obviously, I'd rather take the Arsenal win. Amir says, congrats, Oscar. This is huge. Really pleased with you. Thanks, Amir. Appreciate that. Thanks, Sabby. Thanks, Jamie. Thanks, Harry. Thanks, everyone. Don't know if I'll get the chance to thank everyone, and I apologise if I miss any messages in chat. Matthew says, thoughts on Gallagher. Yeah, this is an interesting one, Gallagher, because he looked like an absolute bargain pick, and I was strongly considering him to bring into my team because he's been doing very well this season, but the returns have dried up in the last few game weeks. I think he's got 1 assist in his last 4, something like that. So there's definitely a question to be asked there. I don't know if it's the time to bring him in now. And I noticed that in Gameweek 15, his average position was the second deepest it's been all season. That was for the Leeds game. The deepest his position had been all season was against Man City, which you can understand. So I don't know if his role's tweaked slightly or if it's the return of Milivojevic into the Palace side, but yeah, I'm not sure if Gallagher's a buy right now. I'm not sure if he's a sell either, to be honest. The fixtures are still good, but you could make the case for moving him for someone like Smith Rowe. DTS says, change your name to FPL GOAT. I can't do that. There's already an FPL GOAT. There's someone with that username. Give him a follow if you're not. Ibe says, will you get Ronaldo? This is a good question. So I'm not sure yet. I probably won't. I'll just go to my transfers. So I've got 1.2 in the bank. And I've got 2 transfers. So there's a lot of routes I could take this game week. Obviously, Tony has to leave the team. So the question is, who does Tony leave the team for? I think there's quite a good bunch of options that I could go for. Ronaldo's the obvious one. Got the Norwich game. I think Watkins could emerge as a very good differential. But I could also go down to a cheap forward like Broja, and that's what I'm currently considering. And then I'll probably upgrade Rafinha to a more expensive midfielder such as Foden or Bernardo Silva. But I could also go for Bowen. Tony asks Gallagher to Bowen. Yeah, I don't hate the Gallagher to Bowen move. I think Bowen's a better pick right now. West Ham are the team in form. They've got the fixtures, so I don't hate that move either. And if you've got no other pressing moves, then I quite like the move. Max asks, will you be doing any transfer suggestions tonight? Yeah, definitely. If anyone's got transfer suggestions, put them in the chat. I'll certainly answer them as best I can. Got a very early look at the Gameweek16 predicted points, which is as follows. Mo Salah is top. He's on 8.6 predicted points for Gameweek16. Second's actually Mane, and then it's Ronaldo in third with 6.28 predicted points for the Norwich game. Obviously, we'll need to pay attention to the Man United game against Young Boys, which I think is on Wednesday, and whether Ronaldo gets minutes or whether he's rested for that. I think he could be a very, very good alternative captain to Salah. But it is hard to look past Salah, isn't it? The form he's in this season. 1 blank since Game Week 2. His only blank, in fact, was Game Week 2 against Burnley. Other than that, he's returned every game week, which is astonishing. He's averaging 1.5 attacking returns every game. Roberto says Foden to Bernardo Silva. Not sure on that one. That seems very sideways. And I think Foden's got the better underlying numbers, so I think I would stick with Foden. Vigo asks, Antonio or Bowen? That's a good question as well. I think it's very dependent on your team shape. So in my case, my team shape's actually a bit too strong, if anything. Let me put up my Gameweek16 team selections. So this is a very early look at my Gameweek16 team. And in my case, I've already got Antonio, and I'm more than happy to have him. I still think he'll come good, and obviously got the assist against Chelsea. But in my midfield, there's not really anywhere to fit Bowen in without getting rid of one of the forwards. So I could do, for example, Tony down to a 4.5 forward and then upgrade one of the midfielders to Bowen, but I'm quite happy to have Smith Rowe. So in my case, I think Antonio. I think it's not much between them to separate the two. If I had to pick between the two, I'd probably go Antonio, just barely. Sheriff, thanks for the donation. He says, good luck, mate. Hope you win it, rooting for you. Thank you, appreciate that so much. Thank you. I mean, realistically, there's a long way to go, and you know, it's out of my hands. You need so much luck to actually win FPL. I could easily drop off significantly from here, you know, and it's still early enough in the season where the ranks are quite volatile. So, yeah, I'm not trying to go on to win FPL. The season target is top 10k, I would say. There was a question: should I bring in Ødegaard? I don't think Ødegaard's a buy. I think if you want anyone in the Arsenal midfield, I would go for Smith Rowe first, and then Saka, and then Ødegaard. Nathan Bacon, how you doing, mate? He says, congrats on first. Now for the hard part, staying there. Yeah, you're dead right. The hardest part is definitely going to be staying there. Got about 8.7 million managers behind me, so I wouldn't dare look over my shoulder. But I'm going to do my best to stay there. But yeah, it's Game Week 16 is going to be tough. I'm at a bit of a crossroads, like I was saying. There's a lot of routes I could take with my transfers this week. So I could go Tony to Ronaldo. That's one option, but it would mean having to sell Son. And I'm not sure if I want to do that. It would mean selling Son for a midfielder for 5.7 or less. The other option, and I did consider this, is Tony to Ronaldo, Antonio to Brozier from Southampton, and then Rafinha to a 4.7 mid. But I'm not sure on that one either. It leaves me a bit tight in terms of getting through the Christmas fixtures and the winter schedule, so I'm not sure about that either. I think there's going to be a game week here and there where Alonso or James or Cancelo or some other player unexpectedly misses out, so that option would kind of leave me a bit lacking the depth. So possibly what I'll do is maybe Tony to Brozier and then Rafinha to someone for 9.3 or less, so maybe Foden, maybe Bernardo Silva. Amro, thanks for the donation. He donated $5. There was no message, but thank you for that. Thank you very much. Arvid says, congrats, great to see number one. Thank you, Arvid, appreciate that. Fizz says, congrats, Oscar, so proud. Thank you, mate. Max says 4 players and he wants to move out. Two free transfers, 0.2 in the bank. He's got Kane, Tony, Rao and Mbumo. Who should I move out first and who for? I'd be very tempted to switch Kane for Ronaldo and then probably downgrade Tony to fund that move. So I'm not sure how much you would have in the bank. You could just do Tony down to Brozier. I think I'd probably prioritise getting rid of Kane for Ronaldo, personally, if that was my team with 2 transfers. You know, Kane's in just horrendous form. Tony out for a couple of games with COVID. So I think those are the obvious players to target. And then later on you can look at Rao and maybe Mbumo. I don't think Mbumo's that bad to have, to be honest with you. Tahar says, thoughts on Mount? Yeah, I actually think Mount's a very good pick. He's kind of flying under the radar, but he's... and the problem is his minutes have been quite sporadic as well, but he's been doing very well. And with the return of Lukaku, I think that only increases his stock. The last 2, he's got 2 goals, 2 assists. So I think Mount's a very, very good under the radar pick, and I think Watkins is as well. We just pull up Watkins. Obviously this game against Liverpool, which is a tough game. But he's got 3 goals in his last 6 games. And the fixtures look very good for Villa after Liverpool. You know, Norwich away, Burnley at home. Chelsea's tough. Depends if you could rotate someone there. Leeds away, Brentford away. Man United home could be tough. But it's a good long run of games for Watkins. So I think he could emerge as an option. Aya says, heard Spurs COVID situation. Yeah, I don't know if I can... let me see if I can find it. It was just a rumour, so, you know, at this point I don't know. Oh, there's a post on Reddit that says... there's a post on Reddit about me. I'll have to pull this up. It says, FPLfocal is now the joint number 1 in the post, auto sub rankings. I better not scroll down in case I get demonetized, but thank you. Thank you for that. But yeah, there was a rumour that some Tottenham players had a COVID outbreak. I think I found it here. Sorry for all the jumping around. Here it is. So the account's called Spurs in the Know Hub. I don't know if that necessarily just means they're in the know, but it's got a lot of likes. I don't know how many followers they got, what the credibility is there. 13.4k followers. You're home for all Spurs in the know from different sources. Anyway, it says COVID outbreak at Hotspur way. 6 players and 2 coaches so far. Although I've just spotted it says tier 3, so I don't know if I should even have brought that up because it's tier 3. We'll see what transpires, but something to keep an eye on. And certainly, as always, save your transfers, make your moves as late as possible. Especially with the midweek Champions League, Europa Conference League fixtures. FPL Kitty says, Alistair Gold has reported it too. Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, like I say, it's something to monitor. You know, maybe there's something in that. Maybe there is an outbreak. And certainly you don't want to make any transfers early. Perhaps we can actually have a very early look at the most transferred in and out players for the game week. Heading into Game Week 16, let's have a look. It is as follows. The most transferred in this game week, over 370,000 have already picked up Bernardo. Followed by Dennis, 317,000 have picked him up already. It's a Friday deadline, by the way, so we've got a few days to go. A lot could happen between now and then, so I would ignore the price rises if there's any, which I'm sure there will be for players like Bernardo and Dennis. Mount's been brought in by over 120,000 already. Bowen, 100k managers have brought him in. Antonio, interesting. He's for those that follow my roundup series, he's been mass sold recently. Rightly so, but it looks like managers are jumping back on Antonio. Tony, unsurprisingly, the most sold. 120,000 have already sold Tony, followed by Gallagher, 113,000. Rafinha, Benrahma, Duffy, St. Maximan, Kane. No real surprises there. Jota, 39,000 have sold Jota. Is there something I've missed there? That is crazy. How can you sell Jota before 2 home games? Madness. Thanks so much everyone that's tuned in so far. If you're enjoying the stream, don't forget to hit like and of course subscribe to the channel. I've already finished my Gameweek 16 captains video. I finished that earlier. So that's going to be out tomorrow morning. I'm in the office tomorrow, so I won't be around. So that's a scheduled upload. I think I missed another donation. Amro, thanks for the donation. He says, hello Oscar. Lovely content, man. I follow you from the USA. Anyway, do you think Cristiano Ronaldo is a good captain option for the next couple of weeks? I do. I think it's obviously risky to bet against Salah, especially before a home game. You know, this season he's played 15 games, not missed a minute, 13 goals, 10 assists, 26 goal involvements. So I think that's something like 1.5 goal involvements per game. So I think it's a bit crazy to bet against Salah. It's certainly very risky. But Ronaldo could be that secret ticket up the ranks, I have to say, because of course he's got Norwich. Norwich have improved under Smith since he came in. Over the last 4 game weeks, Norwich are 6th for expected goals conceded. But it's difficult to see them shutting Man United out, let's be honest. So we'll see. And again, I would keep an eye on the midweek Champions League fixture, what Ronaldo does there, if he plays, whether he's rested. FPL Dream says hi. Hi. Joshua says Norwich are mud. There you go. So another reason to consider Ronaldo above everything else I just said. Norwich are just mud. Mia Faina says Bernardo or Bowen. Oh, good question. I think I would go Bernardo if I had to pick. Obviously, like we briefly discussed earlier, Bernardo Silva not in the Man City squad, travelling to Leipzig for the Champions League fixture. So that's good news for Bernardo Silva owners because he's going to get a rest ahead of Gameweek 16. You imagine he would start. He's been playing consistently. He's in the form of his life, really. He's having a great season. Ahmad, thanks for the donation. He says, thoughts on Buendia for nows? I don't think they're honestly worth the consideration. I think there's a lot of better options around the same price. You know, if you can stretch to Bernardo Silva, Gundogan, I would go for them over them. Or Bowen, I think it's a better pick. Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe was apparently a late test for tonight's game. And of course he missed out. But if it looks like he's going to be back, then I think he's a very good option for the Southampton game. And of course Southampton missing their first 2 choice goalkeepers, McCarthy and Forster, both out injured. Could be goals in that game, and Arsenal need a reaction after losing tonight away to Everton. Ben Draper says, are you considering a Man United mid? I was considering Bruno for a very short period, but probably not going to get a Man United mid. Sancho, he's not really done enough to justify it. Rashford, again, he's not done enough to justify the consideration, in my opinion. And I think they're all rotation risks, or they could come off early. You know, Greenwood's not be getting a look in, so I don't think so. I don't think the Man United mids. Of course, you could go for Fred, who's apparently in great form. I think he got 11 points in Gameweek 15. But no, Fred's not an FPL option, let's be honest. Thanks, Heidi. Cole says, will you get Ronaldo? Probably not. This is how I'm lining up at the moment. I've got 2 transfers as well, which is crazy because, you know, honestly, I could even burn a transfer, but obviously I'll use at least one on Tony since he's going to miss a game or 2. But the second transfer, not sure. I'm probably going to get rid of Tony via downgrade, and I'll probably upgrade Rafinha to someone like Foden or Bernardo Silva. On Wednesday, I'll post my team selection video, as always, so you'll know what moves I make by then. I think I saw Jolders in the chat, but I missed his message. What did you say, Jack? Oh, he said the music still bangs. Yeah, after all this time, the music still bangs. Massive shout out to Harris Heller. He makes copyright-free music for people to use on streams. So all of these streams are complimentary of Harris Heller's music. And likewise for the backing track that I use in my videos. I know some of you quite like the backing track that I use in all my regular videos, which is also a piece by Harris Heller. Family Kadar says, do I sell Reguilon for Diaz? If we take Reguilon's word for it, then no reason to sell. You know, he indicated that he's going to be back. In fact, he even tweeted, don't sell me on FPL. So if you want to take his word for it, I wouldn't make the move. But not the worst move, really, Diaz either, let's be honest. Man City have got such a good run of games. The next 5 look outstanding. Arsenal, Chelsea, even then, Diaz and City capable of keeping clean sheets. Who's everyone captaining for Gameweek 16? Who have you got the armband on? Prey says, should I trade Vardy for Son? Yeah, I would make the move. I think Son's a good option. You know, everything. He looks the likeliest to be involved in Tottenham's goals, and I think he's only going to get better. So right now, I'm more than happy to hold on to Son. And as we said earlier, Brighton in a bit of a crisis, missing a lot of players. So Dunk misses out, he's got an injury. Duffy, I think, is suspended. I think Webster's injured, so that's 3 defenders. I know in attack they're missing a few players as well. Lallana, Trossard's missing, Welbeck. So could be a very, very good game for Tottenham. I hate to say for those that are on the fence about selling Kane. I think Kane's still a sell. Garrison, thanks for the donation. He says, bench Smith Rowe or Dennis? That's a great question. Difficult to answer. I think I would bench Smith Rowe, but it's very, very difficult. I'm a bit on the fence myself at the moment because Rafinha's very likely going to be moved on from Man City mid. So the question is, in my case, who do I bench between King and Smith Rowe? So, you know, it's the same question really. And I don't know yet which one I'm going to bench. Maybe Smith Rowe because he missed tonight. So does he get a full match against Southampton? You could make the case based on that, but you know, it's difficult. Amir says, is downgrading Alonso to a 4.5 defender and Rafinha to Bilva worth a -4? I have Foden already. No, I don't think so. The funny thing is, I've said in past streams, I'll die on this hill, but I think Alonso's going to come good, and so far he's not. But I'm more than happy to keep hold of Alonso. I don't think he's a sell. Maybe you could make the case if he's confirmed to be out for the Leeds game, but no, I think right now I'm going to keep hold of Alonso, and I wouldn't be selling him. Certainly not for a -4. Mo Kanita, good question. He says, what if Son got the virus? Yeah, so, you know, it's just rumours at the moment, so I don't want to speculate, but there is a rumour of Spurs players having COVID, or 6 players and a couple of staff. And if, theoretically, Son was one of those, and he was going to miss 2 games, then yeah, obviously I would sell him, because then he's got Liverpool after that. So yeah, absolutely I would sell him. And then I'd be very tempted to make the move I talked about earlier. I could do, what was it? It was Tony to Ronaldo. Pull that up on screen now. Ronaldo, Antonio to Brozier, and then Rafinha to literally any 4.5 mid. So it could be, you know, Douglas Luiz. That's one route I could take, or I could keep hold of Antonio. I'd have to keep hold of Rafinha, and instead I would downgrade Son to a cheap mid. So I'd have 5.7 in the bank, so I could go all the way down to Douglas Luiz for 1 week and play a 4-3-3. That's assuming, of course, that there's no injury to Alonso, and I would be reliant on everyone else playing. And then the week after, I could upgrade Rafinha to a 7.8 midfielder. So I think I could forward Bernardo Silva, for example. Just a possible move or a possible direction I could go if Son has COVID, but you know, that's speculation at this point. Lighthearted says, I'm buying Fernandes. Yeah, Fernandes, I'm not sure. I think he thrives as the main man. You know, the last couple of seasons he was an outstanding asset, but now Ronaldo's here. I think Ronaldo's the better asset between the two, honestly. Tico says Ronaldo over Lukaku. Yeah, definitely. I think right now Ronaldo looks like the way better asset to have than Lukaku. Babu Hoon says, how long should we keep Son if Sancho starts killing it? Well, it's theoretical. Theoretical? Is that a word? First of all, Sanchez has to start killing it. And I think really he has to kill it for quite a few consecutive weeks before we decide to move for Sancho. So I think it's very early to say that. If Sancho, performed and got returns over the next, say, 3 game weeks in a row, then maybe I'd consider him. But right now, I'm not really considering Sancho. And Son's fixtures aren't bad, Like we said, Brighton are missing 8 first-team players, and then they've got Leicester, who, continuing to lead goals. Liverpool could be a tough game, but then there's a couple more good games after that. Luke Williams says, how's it a deadline stream? Oh, good question. I was in such a rush to prepare this stream that I didn't have time to properly prepare. YouTube gives you the setting to gives you the options to use the settings from your last stream. What should we call it? Gameweek16 preview stream rank 1. There we go. Renamed it. Thanks for the heads up. Daniel says Jota or Bernardo. Difficult one as well. If Firmino is expected to miss a couple more weeks at least, then I would say Jota. 2 home games for Liverpool. I think Jota could do very well over those 2. I imagine the likes of Jota, Salah get a rest as well for Liverpool's midweek Champions League fixture this week, because they are already through. So I think Jota's still a very good pick, and I think he just about edges it, but Bernardo's a very good pick as well. Ideally you want both, to be honest. Lucas says Bernardo or Bowen. Again, I think they're very good picks, both of them, and I don't think it's bad to have both of them, but if I had to pick between the 2, I'd say Bernardo. Joshua's got both. Socrates says transfer Antonio this week. Yeah, not a terrible move. I would probably wait and see what happens in their Europa League fixture, whether he gets called up or not. What we have seen most of the time so far is Moyes doesn't actually take Antonio with him. Maybe out of fear that, they're one Antonio injury away from a bit of a striker crisis, really. They'd have to play Bowen up front. Out of position, to be fair, but not his best position, Bowen. He has played there before last season, but I don't think he's as good up top. They don't really have a capable backup other than Bowen, so I imagine Antonio doesn't travel for the Europa League again, and I think it's a good transfer in for Gameweek 16, Burnley away. Arsenal away, you never know, but he's the type of player that can get something against anyone, as he showed us against Chelsea. And then, of course, it's just an incredible run of games from Game Week 18 onwards. Norwich at home, Southampton at home, Watford away, Crystal Palace away. What is worrying, though, is these 2 game weeks here, Game Week 19 and Game Week 20. Just look at how close together the game weeks are. There's some teams that are going to be playing twice in 3 days, which is crazy. Ridiculous schedule. So I imagine we're going to see brutal rotation over these 2 game weeks, and I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest, if Antonio is one of those that doesn't play in one of these, but I think it's a very good option still. Rudy says keep Kane or switch to Ronaldo or Vardy. I would switch him to Ronaldo. Great run of fixtures for Man United, arguably the best fixture in the league. City also have a very good fixture run. But I think Kane to Ronaldo is a no-brainer. Samurai says, when do we get the new wildcard chip? I think it's Game Week 21. But when you get your second, I would keep hold of it. I wouldn't use it straight away. The second wildcard is arguably more important than the first, because obviously one approach you can take is you save the wildcard and prepare for the double game weeks, which is a huge opportunity to score big if it all goes to plan. And of course you can bench boost in the double game week if you wildcard the week before, or you can wildcard triple captain the doubles. There's so many options. So the second wildcard is probably the most powerful chip in the game. Captain says, hi Focal, congrats from first. Thank you, Captain, appreciate that. David says, you missed my super chat. How do I go back? I'm going to scroll up. Apologies, David. I'm scrolling up and up. Ask it again in the chat, David. I'll keep an eye out for it. Apologies, I missed it. I'm not used to getting super chats, if you couldn't tell. Yeah, just ask it again and I'll cover it. Yusuf says, what's double game week? So double game week, so some teams will miss... sorry, I'm just trying to spot David's message. I don't want to miss it again. Basically, some teams will advance far in competitions like the League Cup, FA Cup, and as a result, the fixtures clash with the Premier League fixtures, which means they have a blank game week. Sometimes you get blank game weeks for other reasons, like we saw Tottenham and Burnley have a postponed game. I'm trying to talk and read chat at the same time, it's really hard. And what that means is the fixtures have to get rearranged for later in the season. So Tottenham, for example, they're guaranteed to have a double game week. If we look at Tottenham's fixture, at the very bottom here, Burnley to be confirmed. The earliest Spurs can have a double game week is game week 21, but it's unlikely to be then. David says, it was just about Mopai finally scoring for me. And I told you about him being so bad for me in your deadline stream. Did you start him, David? Fair play if you had Mopai. Because he's looked like an absolute no-go. He's looked a disaster, and then I think he scored 2 and 2. Fair play if you got any points from Mopai. I think there must be about you and a couple other managers that have Mopai. I lost my train of thought. We were talking about double game weeks. So, yeah. So that's one example. Spurs and Burnley already will have a double game week, guaranteed. Which means they play twice in one game week. Which means you can captain them or triple captain them. And you'll get the points from both games. So it's a huge opportunity to score big. You know, let's say Spurs do get a double game week in game week 21. They play Watford away and Burnley away. Which is a great pair of fixtures. So, for example, you could captain Son, and maybe Son gets something from both games, and that's a huge score. Kieran says, worth Alonso to James from -4. No, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I don't think it's worth a -4. It's too risky, to be honest. You know, Alonso could start, and he could do very well. And, you know, even if he's expected to miss one game, James doesn't necessarily start. It's a good looking fixture against Leeds. You know, Tuchel could play as Piliqueta for all we know. I don't think he does, but it's a possibility, so I wouldn't take the hit personally if that was my team. Thanks so much for tuning in already, everyone. We've got 963 here. If you are enjoying the stream, do hit like and, of course, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Tomorrow morning, the Gameweek 16 captains video will be up, and then on Wednesday, it will be my Gameweek 16 team selection. And then on Thursday, it'll be the roundup video. So 3 videos to come this week. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. And if anyone's not in our Discord, there's a link to that in the description. Genuinely good FPL resource. Let me pull the Discord up. Not that. I don't want to show my private messages. There we go. Yeah, so if you're not in the Discord, I definitely recommend joining. We've got things like the price changes, we've got the lineups, we've got the live scores, we've got the live points, bonus points, gaming stats, injury updates, top 10k stats, insider trading. If anyone doesn't know insider trading, this is transfers that Premier League players and staff made that concern the clubs that they're from. Harry Maguire transferred in Ronaldo. He sold Lukaku. Fair play, Maguire. There's news, there's transfer trends. So yeah, there's a link to that in the chat, and I'll put a link in the description, sorry, and I'll put a link to that in chat. Mia says, should I bring in Trent Alexander-Arnold? Yeah, definitely. Trent's about as near as essential as a player gets, in my opinion. I think if you don't have him, you're just leaving yourself exposed. He's in a league of his own in terms of his underlying stats this season. You know, he's the top in the league, not just among defenders, in the league for expected assists. You know, he's taking corners, you know, creating chances, taking free kicks. So I think you have to have Trent. Jack, thanks for the donation. He's donated £10. He says, great community from Day Dot. Surreal that there's over 900 in here now. Made some great friends through the Discord. So chuffed for you. But still planning on catching you up in the head-to-head league. Thanks, Jack. Appreciate that. I've actually looked at the head-to-head league. I completely forgot about it. Am I top in the head-to-head? Yeah, thanks, Jack. Appreciate that. Jack's one of my early subscribers. He was here. This is crazy, actually. Jack, I think, was a subscriber from before I had 900 subscribers. And now there's over 900 watching the stream. So that is just ridiculous. Thanks so much, Jack. Appreciate that. Praget says, 3 rank neighbour. Comment on my Gameweek 15 transfers. You're rank 3, do you mean? You rank 4? Incredible if you're that high. What's your Gameweek 15 transfers? Chuck them in the chat. I'll do my best to spot the message. Akib says Robertson instead of Jota. Difficult one. I don't think Robertson's worth it this season because of the whole Tsimikas factor. I think at some point Tsimikas plays over this fixture run, so I don't know if he's worth it. Of course, Jota might get rotated as well, but I think I would rather go for Jota than Robertson, to be honest with you. Luke Williams says Smith Rowe to Mount -8. Absolutely not. I wouldn't do that. Wait and see what the presses are like. Fortunately, it's not another midweek deadline, so it was reportedly a late test on Smith Rowe, so I imagine he stands a good chance of making Gameweek 16. So I wouldn't take a -8 to sell Smith Rowe. Zip says Maddison to Bilva. Yeah, I don't hate that move. That's not bad at all. Bernardo Silva, obviously not in the Man City squad for the Champions League, so I think he's a very good option. It looks like he's set for another start for Gameweek 16. Ewan says, I knew Antonio would get a return. Mate, yeah, I haven't even talked about Antonio, so I got that one completely wrong. I would have been a few points clear in first if I'd got the benching decision right. So this was how I lined up. So Tony didn't play. King comes on for Tony rather than Livramento because you can't play without a striker. But then Livramento comes on for Smith Rowe. So it was an absolute stinker of a game week, to be honest with you. You know, in defence, Trent was the only clean sheet. But I also put Antonio last on the bench, which was an absolute disaster. So didn't get Antonio's points despite 2 players not playing in my team. If only someone like James, when they get 0 points, means that someone comes off your bench. But no, he just conceded 3 times and got yellow cards. So that was why James got the 0-pointer. So yeah, I got that one completely wrong. And to be fair, I've got another bench and nightmare for Gameweek 16. I'm potentially going to move Rafinha on for a Man City mid. Either Bernardo Silva or Foden. So yeah, again, I have a bit of a benching dilemma. You know, do I bench King? Do I bench Smith Rowe? Not sure yet. Razvani says King or Dennis? Good question. So I was making the same decision last game week, or for Game Week 15, and I went for King. There's not much in it, and obviously Dennis is in the better form. But over the season, King's got almost twice as much expected goal involvement, which I know isn't the be-all of stats, but it's a good measurement to consider. And while Sarr is out injured, King is on penalty duties, so that's another feather in his cap, so to speak. But the other thing, the third factor, is that of course there's the African Cup of Nations coming up. And Dennis came out today and he said there's no truth to the rumours that I wouldn't play for Nigeria if I was called upon. And he basically said, you know, it's just lies made up by the papers. So there is a potential, we'll potentially see Dennis called up by Nigeria. I mean, it's hard to overlook him in the form he's in, right? I'd be surprised. You know, he's performing this well in the Premier League. It'd be very surprising if Nigeria don't look to call him up. I think it's a couple of years since Dennis last played for Nigeria, but you'd imagine the form he's in, they'll be looking at him. So perhaps Dennis, you know, gets the call up and misses a few game weeks. Admittedly, it's not until the end of December, so it's a while away still. JCND says Antonio to Dennis. I'm not sure about that move. I think Antonio is an easy hold. I think the boat sailed a long time ago for selling Antonio. You know, his returns completely dried up. And if you were going to sell him, I think you had to sell him around here. The Liverpool game, then Wolves, then Man City, Brighton, Chelsea. You know, over those 5-6 game weeks, he got just 1 assist. But I think that boat has sailed. If you look at the fixtures West Ham have ahead. We've got over 1,000 tuning in right now. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. Yeah, it's a bit of a historic night. I cannot believe it. It's not actually hit home yet, I'll be honest. You know, I've jumped... After the full-time whistle, I literally jumped straight into this stream. So I've not actually had a chance yet to properly, you know, sit back and appreciate that I'm first in the world at the moment. So I think it's probably going to hit home when I lie down in bed straight after this stream. I am up very early tomorrow for work, but I could not do a stream right after going first in the world. Mia says, best goalkeeper to buy. I think despite tonight, Ramsdale gets my pick. Maybe you could make the case for David De Gea, considering the fixtures they have, but it's a bit of a gamble that they improved defensively. They certainly look better this game week defensively, but it's still a bit early to say. So I think Ramsdale, De Gea, both good picks. Guaita from Palace, I think all 3 of them are good picks. Abra, thanks mate. He says, congrats for being first in the world. Appreciate that. Narigo says, hope you screenshot it. Yeah, absolutely. I need to screenshot it. That's let me see if it's updated or not. Let's have a look. No, it still says I'm second. Maybe by tomorrow morning it'll say I'm first. Once it's updated, I'll certainly put a screenshot on Twitter. I was, when was it? Back in game week 13 or 12. I was first for a day, and then I got knocked off. So I did get about 1 day in first place, but then I got knocked off the top spot back to second. But this time it's different, obviously, because I finished the game week in first. Crazy. Thanks, Abra. Yeah, I'm going to get a screenshot, JD. Absolutely. Anton says, will Ronaldo rise in price? Let's have a look. Let's have a look at FPL statistics. It tends to be my go-to for price changes. He's 98.7, so I think he's close, but it's not worth the risk in my opinion. You know, there's Champions League football to be played, so Liverpool, Man City, Man United, and then there's Europa League, West Ham, etc., Tottenham, so it's too much of a gamble to make an early transfer. I know Ronaldo's going to rise, which is great, but... Well, not great if you don't own him, but I wouldn't make the early transfer, to be honest with you. And he may not even go up tonight. He might be tomorrow, might be Wednesday night. Babahuni says, thoughts on Watkins? Yeah, I like the Watkins pick. Obviously, Villa have got very good fixtures. Last season, Watkins did fairly well. He didn't really haul often, besides that Liverpool game where he got the hat-trick. But other than that, it was a bit of a drip feed of points. And some weeks he was frustrating to own, but he did well for me last season, Watkins. Got a bit of soft spot for him. Thanks, Mohammed. Skilled Cuba says, get uBlock Origin to remove the ads. I've got uBlock, actually, so that's a bit odd, actually, that I didn't block those ads. Let's have a very quick look at the goal scorer odds for Gameweek 16, which are as follows. As you might expect, Salah's top, 57% chance for scoring any time for that fixture against Aston Villa at home. Going to be an interesting one, that. Gerrard back at Anfield. 57% chance of scoring any time. Second is Ronaldo, 52% chance for the Norwich game away. I think that will be a good game for Ronaldo, but we'll have to see what happens in the Champions League. Lukaku, 48% chance, Vardy 50% chance. Of course, these bookies odds assume that the player starts, and that's not always the case. In Vardy's case, he was benched for Game Week 15, so I imagine he comes back into the starting 11. Lukaku's still finding his way back. Aubameyang benched tonight, he's been in poor form. Don't think he'll start next Game Week either. Amir, thanks for the donation. He says, Smith Rowe and Rafinha to Gilmore and Bilver from -4. No, I wouldn't do it. I personally wouldn't do it. I'd personally keep hold of Smith Rowe if he's expected to play Game Week 16. And maybe someone like Bowen instead. I don't think it's worth a -4. If Smith Rowe's out, then definitely you can make the case for that hit. Clean sheet odds for Game Week 16. Man City are top. Good news for those of us with players like Cancelo, especially considering Cancelo wasn't called up in the Champions League squad for the game against Leipzig. Chelsea second, 48% chance. I read that Kovacic is back for Chelsea, so that's good news as far as the clean sheet odds. He helps them defensively and offensively. Liverpool 46% chance for the game against Aston Villa. Really looking forward to that one. It's going to be an interesting game. Man United 41% chance. Arsenal 39% chance against Southampton. Wonder who we'll see up top for Southampton. Hasenhüttl's got a bit of a nightmare picking between Adams, Armstrong and Brozier. He tried all three but didn't really work out. Ukash, thank you so much for the donation. He says, would you recommend for 2 transfers, Cornet to Bernardo or Bowen and Hwang to Dennis and King? If you don't have Antonio, then I like the Bowen move. And if I had to pick between Dennis and King, it would be King. For the reason we discussed earlier. Obviously King's got the better underlying numbers as far as expected goals go. Not just over the last 4, but for the season. And of course he's got the penalty duties while Sarr's out. No risk of an African Cup of Nations call up, which is the case with Dennis. May not happen, but that's also a factor to consider. Bernardo versus Bowen is a difficult one. What does everyone in chat think? Bernardo or Bowen? I think it does depend on if you have Antonio or not. I think the double up is a bit risky. I do think there'll be a game week where Antonio's benched, especially I think it's game week 19 or 20 when there's 2 games in 3 days. You know, crazy schedule. I suppose the answer is it depends on if you have Antonio, because then I think you can make the case for Bowen if you don't. And it also depends on if you've got any City mids like Foden or Gundogan. Again, if you don't, then I think you want to have a City mid for the fixtures coming up. So it largely depends on that. But I preferred King over Dennis. And Dennis has risen so much, there's not much to separate them price-wise. Chat fancies Bernardo more. Interesting. The Stephanable says Bowen. Tyler says both. Maya asks a good question as well. Bernardo or Foden? So I personally think Foden. But there's not much to separate the two. But I'm probably going to move for Foden. Unless, of course, there is any truth to the Spurs COVID outbreak. But that's all hearsay at this point, just rumours. Thanks for that donation, though. Appreciate that. Just wondering, it's no, it's not the same Ukash I was thinking of. Zofar. That's another one, right? Different one. I've lost it now. Alonso injury update. I don't know if we've got an injury update. It's a good opportunity to talk about Premier injuries, though. I'm sure many of you know it already. Sorry, I've left that on the screen. Premier injuries. There's a website by Ben Dinnery. Easily the best resource for injury updates. You know, some of this is Ben's speculation on when he thinks a player returns, but most of the time it's based on managers' comments. So you can just go to the injury table and it's got, you know, all the teams, and he regularly updates this almost daily, Ben, probably even daily. But in terms of Alonso, the latest update is just he had back pain, so there's been no update since the 4th. Potential return the 8th, so that's game week 16, 50% chance, currently being assessed. So I think we'll have to wait and see what Tuchel says in the presser. James, thanks for the donation. He says Kane, Alonso, Rafinha out, Antonio, Rashford, Trent in. Not sure about Rashford. I think I would move for someone like Foden or Bernardo over Rashford. But I love Antonio and Trent. Good moves. Rashford's a big punt. I'm not sure about that. Didn't he come off early as well in game week 15? Oh my god, I've got so many Twitter notifications to catch up on after this. Jedrez says, probably butchered your name there, sorry. He says, which two out of Benteke and Bumo and King? Probably in Bumo and King, between the two. I had to pick between those three. Ben Stewart says, Foden, Bernardo double up. Yeah, potentially. A little bit risky. I think you have to have a good bench. Not just for the City double up, but the whole December fixture schedule. It's a packed schedule. So I think... Oops, I didn't mute Discord. There we go. Mute that. Yeah, I mean, it's such a packed schedule through December that you have to have a strong bench because there's going to be unexpected benchings, as there is every year. I think that alert was actually the bonus points confirmed for tonight. Let's check who got the bonus. Tierney got 3. Richarlison got 3. Odegaard got 1. I felt slightly bad for Richarlison getting both of those goals ruled out for offside, but then again I didn't care because I'm an Arsenal fan. LeBron says Telles. Not sure about Telles. Obviously, Shaw could make his way back into the starting 11. I think Dallow's the more interesting pick. I think Dallow's 4.4. And admittedly, I don't know much about Rangnick, but from what I've read, he favours attacking fullbacks, which might be good news for Dallow, who's obviously more attacking than Wan-Bissaka. One to keep an eye on for sure. Telles is one to keep an eye on for sure as well, but I wouldn't be moving for either of them right now. Thanks so much everyone for tuning in so far. We've got 1,036 here. If you are enjoying the stream, don't forget to like the stream and of course subscribe to the channel if you're not. Tomorrow morning, my Gameweek16 captains video will be out, and then on Wednesday, I'll be sharing my team selection. I've been asked about this quite a lot. Obviously, right now I rank first in the world, and there's been quite a few questions about, will I stop doing the team selections because everyone that's ranked around me could just, you know, they can see what I'm going to do, and they've got an edge on me. But no, the answer is no, I'm just going to keep doing the team selections, whatever happens. You know, it's incredibly unlikely, but if I was still second by like Gameweek 37, then yeah, then you could make the case for not posting my team selections before the deadline, because that is a major edge. But I think right now it's too early to be worried about that. I don't expect to go on to win FPL, and season targets is top 10k. Let's skip. Thanks for the donation. He says, took a -16 to bring in Silva, Foden, Ronaldo and Bowen. Wow. I'm wondering what the -16 was though. Did you already make a move? Because that's 4 players, so that would be a -12, right? Yeah, that's incredibly bold. -16s, we don't see them pay off very often. Though interestingly, the biggest FPL score of all time, they took a -20, was it? I don't know if anyone's seen that video I made a couple of months ago on the biggest FPL score of all time. But they took a -20 and they scored 226 points. So, yeah, best of luck with that. Family Kadar says, Smith Rowe injury, check the update. Is there an update? Let me check if there is an update. Oh, we have some more news on Spurs. Let's pull this up. Alistair Gold, verified Twitter account, of course he's a journalist. Understand that Spurs have indeed had a COVID outbreak at their camp this week. More info below. Wow. Conte's plans have been thrown into disarray after a COVID outbreak within the North London club this week. Wow, that's massive. I wonder who the affected players are. We'll have to wait and see, right? I wonder if the... shouldn't they get another blank? That'll be 2 double game weeks already for Spurs. I don't suppose we'll get much more information right now. I doubt anyone knows who those players are. We'll have to monitor that closely. Those of us with Spurs players, you know, Reguilon, Son, Kane, probably the most owned Spurs assets at the moment. Yeah, that'd be huge news. And it will completely change my transfer plans if Son is one of the affected players. Depending on who's affected, you know, you could make the case for moving Son on anyway if they are missing so many key players. You know, imagine they're missing Reguilon, Lucas Moura, Kane. You know, you could certainly make the case for selling Son or, you know, whatever. Yeah, I don't think we have any more news than that right now. Anyway, as much as I would love to stay and continue streaming, I've got work very early tomorrow morning. I didn't want to not do a just a post game week stream because, yeah, obviously in case you missed it, I went up to first in the world, which is absolutely ridiculous. Cannot believe it. So, still first in the world. It hasn't updated. I just had a quick check. Still hasn't updated. Still says I'm second. So I'll have to wait till tomorrow to post that screenshot. The skip says, my bad, -12. Okay. I mean, still a very bold -12, but you picked up some good players, to be fair. They could repay the hit over the next few game weeks, certainly. Probably not this game week, let's be honest, but you never know. So, yeah, there's not much else for me to say, really. I'd love to stay and chat all night. It's been an incredible game week. I cannot believe that I'm first in the world. It still hasn't hit home yet, to be honest with you. I think when I switch the lights out and get into bed in a minute, it might hit home. Don't know if I'll be able to get to sleep, to be honest with you. I'll probably be on Twitter and so on. But yeah, thanks so much everyone for tuning in. As I say, tomorrow morning, my Gameweek16 captains video will be out. On Wednesday, I'll be sharing my team selection. Got some decisions to make there. Thursday, the roundup video will be out. I may do the final stream on Thursday night. Friday, I've got my work Christmas party, so I'm not going to be around on Friday, unfortunately. So yeah, I'll be at that, and I'll probably be fairly hungover on Saturday morning. But as always, I'll be on the Discord to chat to everyone. So thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. Really appreciate you being here. If you have enjoyed the stream, don't forget to hit like and of course subscribe to the channel if you're not already. But for now, it's a goodbye from me. Cheers all.